Are you currently in full or part-time employment and looking to get started in property investing? Well, you're not alone, and more often than not, the majority of people that we have taught in the past have had some form of employment when they first gotten in touch. And the reality is, if you want to be successful in property investing and you're currently juggling some form of other employment, some other distraction, then you're going to have to be smart in the way that you approach things in order to give you best chance of success. And that's what I want to cover in this video. I'm going to give you my 4 top tips to keep you focused, keep you driven, keep you motivated, and give you the best chance of successfully starting your property journey. So hey there, I'm Mark Dunsmore, founder of Goliath Sourcing Academy, and over the last 5 years we've taught over 2,000 people how to get started with property investing. And one of the more common themes throughout those 2,000 plus people is the majority have some form of employment at the moment, whether they're full-time employed, part-time employed, or maybe they're running their own non-property related business, but they know they want to get started investing in property. And trust me, it's never too late to get into this game. It's a fantastic thing to be involved with, but you need to ensure that you get in with the right mindset, the right plan, the right path, the right reasonings, in order to give yourself that best chance of success. So my first top tip for succeeding with property investing when you're in some form of employment is that I want you to be realistic in terms of your time, your skill set, your area, your ability to do certain things like refurbishment management, viewings, vendor negotiation, all of those things. Because if you bite off more than you can chew, then the reality is that you are going to struggle to keep the consistency. And when it comes to property investing, consistency is key. There's a lot of people that get started, that dabble, that make false starts almost, and then they fall by the wayside and they lose any sort of momentum. And more often than not, it's because the distraction of employment, family life, whatever it is, takes over. They didn't have the right plan, they didn't have the right motivation, they didn't have the right focus, and it means that they fall off the wagon, so to speak, and they don't get the results that they want to get. So I want you to be really realistic about how much time and how much energy you have to commit to this property journey at the moment, because that is going to be what we manage at this stage in order to then gather that momentum, get to the revenue that you need to leave work, leave whatever it is that you're doing, allow you to commit to this more and more and more, so that when you are in a place to go full time, you're already financially secure, you're in a great confident position for moving forwards, and it will be the no-brainer thing to do in terms of the next step. So the next thing you want to be, we've kind of touched on it with regards to time and task management, but we want to ensure that the time that you have got available to dedicate to your property journey is enough time to do the things that you want to do. Now, the beauty of property is that you can do it in an hour a week, you can do it in 5 hours a week, you can commit to it full time per week. But what you achieve in that time is what's important to make sure you're doing the right things, the most effective things, the things that are going to give you the best chance of that momentum. So what I want you to do is be very strict with regards to mapping out a diary and a timetable of what you currently do. Those commitments that you have, I want you to note down, basically breaking down a spreadsheet or a calendar, a Google Calendar, into half-hour blocks, and make sure that you make a note of anything that you are currently committed to. So that might be commuting, it might be your current work, it might be family time, kids clubs, sport, hobbies, literally everything that takes up your time on a daily basis. I want you to mark down on your calendar. From that, you're then going to be able to identify the free time that you've got, or the time that you currently waste that you could be dedicated to doing more property related things. By doing this whole process, it's going to give you an idea as to a much clearer idea as to how much time you've got to commit to property. And then what we're going to do, the next stage of this process, is task management. So of course, there's certain things that you do in property that take time, and certain things are going to have a bigger impact on the results that you get, especially when you've got limited time available. So for example, going and viewing 10 properties a day every single day of the week for the next 3 months, if you're working full time, is highly unlikely going to be something that you can achieve. However, making a very clear path around what it is you're looking for, the property types, the agents that have got them on, and then making very few viewings, but viewing the right properties for you, for the strategy, for the focus that you are on, then that's going to be a much smarter use of that time. The other thing is we've got tasks that we can leverage, such as direct mail campaigns, such as Facebook ads, pay-per-click advertising, stuff that can be done whilst you're at work. Lead generation campaigns are being sent out, they're going out while you're working. Then you can allocate some time on a daily basis, every other day, that is going to be dedicated to ringing those people back, having those conversations, and making those offers. So by knowing how much time you've got available, then identifying the key tasks that you can do in those that time available is certainly going to give you that head start over what other people are currently doing. Now, third on the list is about slow and steady wins the race. If you come out of the blocks too fast, what's going to happen is potentially you're going to become overwhelmed. Potentially you are going to not achieve the consistency, that regular activity that you're going to need to build a solid property foundation for your property business. And that means that you're going to very quickly lose confidence, lose consistency, lose motivation. And that's going to lead to potentially things like shiny penny syndrome, distraction, or you're just simply going to go back into your daily routine, forgetting about your property, only to revisit it again in a few months' time when the reality of why you were doing it in the first place sets in. You want to get out, the lifestyle freedom, whatever it is, you're going to come back to property having lost all the momentum that you potentially built in a little bit. So remember, what we want to do is just identify little bits, keep taking little steps forward, do those viewings, analyze those deals, make those offers, because that's going to, those little slow, steady steps forward are going to be what progresses you forwards towards the goals that you want to achieve. And then, of course, that's going to make sure that you are in a great place with a solid foundation to build that property business for the future. And last but not least, it's about goals, goal setting, and remembering what it is that you are doing this for. Because ultimately, a lot of times people want to get out of work, they want to leave employment, they want that lifestyle freedom, that financial freedom, they want the enjoyment that property business building can bring, but they don't actually put a tangible goal with it. They don't put those that big hairy goal, that future goal of what the lifestyle is going to look like when you hit that goal. What are you doing on a daily basis? Are you on a beach? Are you going around property projects? You're all going to have a very different vision of what the future might hold. But that vision is going to be achieved by having multiple goals spread out over the next 1, 3, 5 years. Then that first year, this year now, we're going to break that down into even smaller goals, so that, remember the last point, slow and steady wins the race. Those mini goals are going to keep you moving forwards towards that big hairy goal, which of course is that lifestyle and financial freedom that you see being your vision for the future. But without those goals written down, without it planned out, without it broken down into bits, then you're ultimately not going to achieve very much. You're not going to feel like you're moving forward. You're not going to feel like you've got that momentum. You're not going to celebrate those wins, which you should every step of the way, which means that you're going to be, again, easily distracted, easily fall back into what it is that you want to do. And that's not what we want for you at all. So hopefully that's helped you and motivated you to start putting together a plan for getting out of your current employment, out of self-employment, out of part-time employment, and to turn your property business dream into a reality. But if you remember those 4 points, then you'll certainly be giving yourself a head start. You'll certainly be putting yourself ahead of the majority of people that do get started in property. And remember that consistency, those small steps, those goals, that ability to manage your time properly and effectively is going to give you the best chance of results.